Hello, my name's Emma. I'm a filmmaker from the southwest of the UK, and today I'm going to make a very quick video just to show you my steadicam and gimbal setup. I combine the RS3 with the Proaim Flycam, and I just want to show you how I did that without having to invest in V-mount batteries and loads of other stuff. So I'm hopefully going to save you about £350. So yeah, so I've been shooting with gimbals for about 3 years now. My first gimbal was the Ronin RS3 that I mounted my A6400 on, and it was great for a bit until I started using extra accessories. Even though it had a really cool bracket you could put around the neck and mount monitors on, it just started to get really heavy, and that's when I started thinking about soft mounted steadicams as well, and distributing the weight around your hips rather than it going through your shoulders, and that can therefore take down the length of time that you can operate for without getting severe backache. So it's the best of both worlds. There's lots of people who do videos like this on YouTube. I'm just showing you my setup for smaller scale productions using a crop sensor. So this is my handheld rig if I just need to use things really quickly. It's really simple. It's just the camera, and one of the really important things is to have the battery mounted underneath for two reasons. One is a counterweight to help balance the camera on the gimbal a whole lot easier, and two, you don't have the batteries mounted somewhere else and you've got to have a wire trailing down the rig which can interfere with the balance of the rig. So it's all contained and it's all balanced up there. I do have a very thin HDMI cable for monitoring, which I'll show you later, but this is basically why this rig is so great, because I can put an MPF battery there. This camera will last all day on that battery. No need for a V-mount battery right from the get-go. So yeah, it's great like that, but after a while things get a bit can get a bit hard. So I really wanted to put this rig on my steadicam, but you've only got one tiny thread in the bottom handle, and when you're on a steadicam, the weight of this camera and the inertia of that being pulled down by doing steadicam moves means that that bolt has so much strain on it, and it's probably not a good idea basically, and you'll lose your camera. So I was looking into that and I was pricing it all up, and it came to about £350 to get the V-mount battery, which I don't really have any of, but I have loads of NPF batteries. So the RS3 already comes with this handle, which is great for shooting underslung and all sorts of ways you can use it as an extra support. But I had this idea. You may have already done this, and that's cool, but when it's mounted on there, I thought, what happens when this handle comes down 90 degrees? It comes to there, exactly in line. So this would act as a support if I could find a way of getting these 2 points to connect to the camera stage. You'll essentially have a brace for the top of the gimbal, so you wouldn't have to invest in an extra V-mount battery or any adapters, so saving yourself a bit of money. And that's when I was looking around my gear and I realised I had some rods and 2 tilted base plates, and I came up with this. So now what we've got to do next is mount the steadicam plate that goes onto the top of the camera stage on the sled to the bottom of there. So we're going to be mounting the Ronin on that new base plate on top of this camera stage. You might recognise this. This is the Proaim Redking, and it's brilliant. It's so solid, and what you get for it, for the price that you spend, is great. I've been using it for about 18 months now, and it's great. I sometimes use it as a normal Steadicam as well. I've even drilled some I wish they'd done this previously as well. I've even drilled holes for HDMI cables to go in the top from the camera through to where you can put a monitor at the bottom. Just there. Bit crude, but I don't care. It works for me. Just sanded that down with a metal file. But yeah, I can get a full-on HDMI cable through the centre, because it was a bit annoying. Because you couldn't really, like, it was quite hard to do dynamic balance with monitors and things on. You couldn't spin the sled around to make sure it was all dynamically balanced. So that was one of the main reasons I did that. So yeah, let's now pop the RS3 with my A6400 onto the camera sled. So as you can see here, we've got two larger tripod screws going in to the bottom of the base plate here, and then you've got the 1/4 inch, really thick 1/4 inch screws going up through the handle and the battery of the RS3. And while we're on the subject of batteries, by the way, you can charge these while they're on the go, so you can have this going to a power bank during your shoot. You can just wire that in and then mount it on a clamp. I might do that because I'm going to show you the full rig in a second as well, so I can just show you how you can keep this ticking over all day. These batteries are amazing anyway, and if you need to buy, you want to have another one on standby, they're only about £70 anyway. So yeah, these batteries are amazing, which is another reason why you don't necessarily need a V-mount battery. I'm not saying anything against V-mount batteries. If you have one and you can afford it, yeah, go for the adapter. This is just, again, just reiterating, this is just to save a little bit of money, and this rig works perfectly fine for me. So this is a really, really solid, chunky connection on the bottom. This is really solid. This is not going to go anywhere when it's mounted, and this plate that comes with the Redking is really, really solid. So I'm not at all worried about any inertia or force being put on this when it's on top of the sled. So let's put it on top of the sled now. So now it's on top of the sled. The same principles of dynamic balance obviously apply. You're going to need to adjust all these settings, because when it is on here, you can see even just in my hand it's pulling forward. So you're going to need to balance the Steadicam so the centre of gravity is still coming down the centre of the post. So all those rules still apply, otherwise you're going to have the sled just wanting to lurch forward like it's doing now. So here we are then. This is the Ronin RS3 Pro Combo on top of the Proaim Redking sled with the Flycam, Galaxy arm and vest. So this is about excluding the camera and some of the other accessories like this Feel World 5-inch monitor and the NPF battery and adapter, and also my USB power bank, a couple of clamps here and there. This is probably just under, or just over £1,000 in the UK. You might be noticing already the HDMI lead that's coming out of the camera here. Obviously you can use radio transmitters. It's probably better advised. I'm not in a position to spend that much money at the moment, because you're looking at least £400 for a half decent one. I'll probably get around to that next year. I'm going to invest a bit more, but there's always something more you can be buying, so I'm just giving myself a bit of a break there. This works fine. Again, I'm not one of those people who's always got to have the latest thing. I mean, this camera, the A6400's been out for 5 years now, and I love it, and they're really cheap. I know they're 420, but they're still great in my book, and you can put some great glass on there. So I've got the Sigma 30mm f1.4 on there. I've got the whole of that range, and that's what makes this camera just so great. I've shot music videos and all sorts on this. It's often called a vlogging camera, but I think it's so much more than that. I've got the tilt and mount box on the front there, and yeah, you can see the handle and the whole stage we've made there, and it's just working absolutely brilliantly. Just balanced it all really nicely, and you can just see how easy it is to use. I could do this all day, really. It's really easy to do over the shoulder walking talks as well. Don one, I've got the monitor just there, not positioned that great at the moment, but there's just a little bit of slack on the cable. I can just move it around. You can see here I've taped it quite crudely, but I'd rather like adjust the cable so it kind of stays, but there's room for adjustment depending if I need to alter the post or the monitor. I've got this HDMI cable coming up the side, and that's where it joins. So if I want to take the rig off, all I've got to do is disconnect the HDMI lead, and I can just pull the sled off. And because it's obviously, this is a lightweight rig, I can just, you know, pop that down. We're on the rubber feet of the Redking, so you could just pop that down if you shut the gimbal down, rest it somewhere very safe, of course. But I've done that often, self-shooting, leave it somewhere safe for a couple of minutes while you're doing something else, and you've taken the arm off and you're just, I don't know, maybe adjusting a light with just the vest on before you do the next take or something. So it's really good for self-shooting. You don't want to kind of, this is why I don't like the massive rigs, because the bigger your kit, the more people you need to help you with it. It depends on the budget you're on as well. I mean, I get employed as a filmmaker, rarely as a crew member. So I've got to be self-sufficient and find ways that work for me, as I'm sure you probably do as well. But this rig is just makes things so easy. Going into javelin mode, it's really nice. I always have the rig balanced just so it's, I mean, you can see the drop time. It's just really nice and fluid. It's hardly any effort for me to just tilt forward. I've obviously got the monitor on the front as well. I haven't got the cable for the USB power bank going up to the Ronin, but that could keep it charging all day if I could be bothered to do that cable. I actually kind of quite like the way it looks as well, with the handle bracing it at the back. Obviously, if you do buy the tilter adapter, I know there's another company that does one as well as tilter. Probably Small Rig do one now. I can't quite remember. But you would get a lower centre of gravity, of course. It extends the whole post, having the handles on. But if you balance it right, it's really not that different. So you can adjust your pan and follow settings on the Ronin. But yeah, I don't really know what more there is to say than that, really. I really like the Flycam Galaxy arm and vest as well. Again, I could upgrade that if I wanted to, but I think my camera body is in need of an upgrade sometime next year. It's December 23 at the moment. I'd really love to get an FX30 on the end of here, and that's fine for the work I do. But the Redking is amazing. It's a really nice, like, little steadicam setup for APS-C and mirrorless shooting. Anyway, you can get a red camera on the Redking as well, by the way. but it just works so lovely. I've got no anxiety about anything failing whatsoever, and it just all works with so much ease. Wish I was filming something right now. Yeah, so there we go. Flycam Galaxy with Ronin RS3 Pro combo without any extra adapters, apart from obviously creating a bit of a makeshift camera stage out of the small rig plates and rails. So I hope you found something you can take away from this for your setup anyway. But there we go. I think it's awesome. I love it. All right. Cheers. Bye.